What is up, everybody? This is Everett Cards, and welcome back to King of FanDuel Week 7. Cue the terrible music. Do, 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 do. Who's the King of FanDuel? That's right, we're back again, almost halfway through the season at this point. It's crazy. Some teams doing better than others. My team, unfortunately, kind of falling off the face of the earth right now in terms of just player injuries really affecting the team flow and how to play. It was announced today, this is Wednesday, the day before the Chiefs and Broncos game, which I am confident that we can win. Sammy Watkins is out, which is alright because Tyreek is back. It's always nice to have offensive weapons, but I'm right now worried more about our defensive weapons. In the fact that just a lot of those players are out. I was hoping to get Ramsey. Ramsey now plays for the Rams, and in turn, Marcus Peters, who used to play for us, did play for the Rams, now plays for the Ravens. So he's at least going to a kind of decent team, not a Super Bowl caliber team though. And the one team that sticks out as a Super Bowl caliber team is the one who's been winning all the Super Bowls, and that is, of course, the Patriots. Now let's go into last week. You can see I've got my blanket on the table, which means I've won now 3 weeks in a row. Now, I won't say that this has been easy because we had another close contest this week. It wasn't settled by 2 points like it was last week, but this week's was settled by about 6 points. Now, looking at my lineup, it wasn't terrible, but also some of these picks weren't great either. They could have been better. So we have Deshaun Watson, who did fairly good against my Chiefs. I basically said if anybody asked that I wasn't feeling confident about the Chiefs coming off of a loss at home to be a very high caliber offensive team, but also a decent, or more decent definitely, than our Chiefs defense. So I felt like they were better. They should have won by more than 7 with 2 interceptions, and then just our mistakes and our poor defense, and on and on and on. We won't go into that. Now, Deshaun Watson had 2 rushing touchdowns, which gave him 12 points, 280 passing yards, 42 running yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 pass for a 2-point conversion, and 2 interceptions that took away 2 points. Then we went to David Johnson. David Johnson had about 100 total yards running and receiving with a touchdown. 2 touchdowns, sorry. I was very happy with his performance, 25 points. Mark Ingram, I thought he would do better. He had about 75 yards total with 1 touchdown. Where my lineup kind of fell apart were my wide receivers. Cooper Kupp, 4 receptions, 17 yards. And I have to hand it to San Francisco because they're looking like a really decent team, and they look like they know what they're doing. Gallup, who was a part of a loss to the Jets, had 4 receptions for 48 yards. And I watched that game, and I think he dropped quite a few passes as well. Boyd for Cincinnati against Baltimore, he had 3 receptions for 10 yards. And then we pick it back up with Austin Hooper, who's just been a very good, cheap pick for the tight end position. You're not overpaying like we have been for Kelsey or Ertz or players like that. Kelsey, I think, has 1 touchdown on the season, so he's not hitting all those yards like he's used to hitting. But Hooper had 117 yards off 8 receptions and a touchdown. And then we put in Le'Veon Bell, who only had 50 yards, but a touchdown did grant him half of his fantasy points. And then I did do the Arizona Cardinals defense. They had 2 sacks, and it's not letting me scroll to see what else, but they only got me 1 point. So basically, I could have lost this to 2 different people in Cronin and New Guy Took My MOJ if they would have just switched a player. But of course, we don't know that's going to happen until the week of. I also said last week that I thought that the Falcons could beat the Arizona Cardinals. Their kicker missed an extra point attempt, which handed Arizona the victory, and therefore I'm out of the Pick'em season contest on FanDuel now. I made it 6 weeks, so some people got out really quickly when they thought that the Rams could beat the 49ers, and that was not the case. The Rams are kind of tanking like my Chiefs are right now, so hopefully we can pick it back up. Used to, week, I would know the record of my team, and now I don't even know the record of my team off the top of my head right now. I do know, however, I feel like we need a bye week, and I don't think we have one for a little bit. I could be wrong, but we play the Vikings and the Packers, 2 good teams coming up. I think that Devontae Adams will be back for the Packers, so that could spell trouble for my Chiefs. But let's go ahead and get into this week's lineup. Again, this is subject to change. I like the lineup for the most part. There's some players I'm highly considering taking out, and this is a very, very rough. I'm talking half these players or defenses or whatever could be gone. I don't even like any of my wide receivers at this point. And I will say, once I hit my final team, I have been taking it over to FanDuel or DraftKings and been doing their largest contest, a $5 double up, and it worked out pretty well. So I think we're going to do that again this week. Enter this lineup on DraftKings to a $5 double up. Hopefully that goes well. And then doing some other contests on FanDuel. We are currently in the hole, $15 on FanDuel, but we did make some money back last week, so that's good. DraftKings were even, so we're doing all right over there. I have Matt Ryan as my quarterback. They are at home against the Rams. The Rams are losing some good defensive players, and who knows if Ramsey's even going to play this week. That's something I have to keep up with if I want Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is throwing the ball a lot, though. 36 attempts, 46 attempts, 53, 34, 43, 46. So he went under 40 for the first time this whole season on his passing attempts, with 4 touchdowns last week against the Arizona Cardinals. So next, I really like Leonard Fournette. He's getting more volume, he's getting more catches, he's getting more running attempts per week, and he's coming up against a Cincinnati team that just can't stop anything. We all bash Cincinnati. We all know Miami stinks and Arizona stinks and some of these other teams stink, but the most bashing I hear is of Cincinnati. Next is Josh Jacobs. I don't feel great about this pick, so he's one that I feel like I could get rid of. He's cheap. He's facing a team that's 29th in the run, which is Green Bay, or 23rd in the run. Maybe he had 26 rush attempts in his last game against a beat-up Bears defense. Even then, I wouldn't have picked him. D.D. Westbrook, again, a player coming up against Cincinnati. He's getting targeted a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. 8, 11, 6, 9. So anywhere between like 6 and 9, I'm fairly happy with. And then we have Christian Kirk, who is questionable against the Giants. I'm thinking of taking him out as well. Neither team have a defense, so it could be a high-scoring game, but you also have 2 rookie quarterbacks. I have Boyd again this week against Jacksonville. He'll probably be taken out. Austin Hooper, still way too cheap at $6,600. I think the Rams are going to try to do a better job of stopping him. Dalvin Cook against Detroit, which I will probably stay with. And then I have the Bears against New Orleans, because New Orleans just didn't have an offense last week. 1 touchdown, 2 field goals. So I've got $1,500 left in salary remaining. I'm doing my research right now, which is sometimes what I do during class, but also it's like I do it in between. I do it at night before I head to bed. And you just got to find which teams are hurting, how to exploit that, which teams are supposed to be high scoring, exploit that, if there's unfavorable matchups, exploit it. If, backups are in, or somebody's playing out of position, or if the best cornerback on a team is covering this certain receiver, their secondary wide receiver is somebody to choose. Things like that. Watch YouTube videos, because there's a lot of great people out there who do that. If you're into fantasy, watch some good YouTube videos. That's how I partially make my lineups. It's also partially, I don't like that particular thing you said. I'd rather choose this player. Even Saquon could be back this week, and Saquon could make it into my lineup, which I think would be very nice against an Arizona defense. So that's it for this week, guys. I appreciate you all so much for watching, as usual. Crazy to think we're almost halfway through the season already. We've got 3 wins in a row after we start off with 3 or 4 losses. So thank you guys for sticking with me. I know these videos don't get as many views as my pack opening videos, but I enjoy doing them for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Good luck to your teams. I'll talk to y'all later.